We encounter conflict every day of our lives, whether it's in the workplace, playing a sport, or trying to accomplish everyday activities. Conflict management is the process of limiting the negative aspects of conflict while increasing the positive aspects of conflict. The aim of conflict management is to enhance learning and group outcomes, including effectiveness or performance in an organizational setting.
In the article End to Growth, the author Mike Myatt gives us the 5 keys of dealing with workplace conflict. The first key to properly dealing with any form of conflict is recognizing the conflict at an early point and begin to give a resolution. Second is to define acceptable behavior. Third is to hit conflict head on. Fourth is understanding the what's in it for me factor. The fifth and the last key is to create an action plan and discuss the conflict and evaluate the situation together. It is also very important to go into deep detail about the conflict in order to flush out the roots and think objectively about it. When thinking about the conflict from all angles, you will see the different interpretations and gain perspective you might not have thought of when first engaging in conflict.
According to the Sports Business Journal, one example of conflict management in sports is in the UFC. The fighters used the "what's in it for me" factor to deal with the fighters not getting compensated for the money that they are bringing into the sport. By using this type of conflict management strategy, they were able to bring a lawsuit against the UFC because they believed that they should be getting paid the right salary for the money that they bring into the sport. According to another sports business journal, another example in sports where conflict management played a role was in college. The NCAA decided to create an action plan by bringing the issue to attention regarding college athletes receiving money from schools, agents to play at certain programs. This has been a topic of discussion for many years, and the National Basketball Players Association has decided to create an action plan by bringing in the FBI to further investigate on the issue. Currently, it is illegal for a recruit or a player to receive any kind of compensation regarding the sport they participate in. This conflict will take time to resolve, but the most important part is that conflict management strategies have been implemented to deal with this issue. In another sports business journal where conflict management strategies was implemented, dealt with the UFC once again. The fighters used discussing the conflict and evaluating the situation together strategy. The conflict that arises in the article is that the fighters need and want better conditions, and to negotiate this conflict, it is necessary to form a union. The board has been in talks whether or not to approve for the athletes to form a necessary union to bring issues to the table regarding the UFC fighters/athletes. In the article, 5 methods to resolve any dispute. You have to know the conflict. You have to know how it started and what the conflict is about. Secondly, the people involved in the conflict have to want to resolve the conflict. Thirdly, you have to have a lot of patience and ability to take on this difficult task. The fourth principle is to understand what the other person wants. Lastly, you have to be able to be willing to take a risk. A conflict management strategy regarding the 5 methods to resolve any dispute gives us an example in the to have a lot of patience and ability to take on difficult task strategy. In the Sports Business Journal, the author states a similar topic regarding student athletes receiving compensation for their play at the big Division I programs. In this case, the conflict strategy is used to figure out whether or not the players should be receiving money to play. This debate has been a topic of discussion for years and years, and still to this day has yet to come to fruition. A way to deal with this conflict is to ultimately have schools pay their athletes with some sort of compensation so that they can take care of themselves and their families. The reason athletes are leaving college after 1 year is because they are ready to be recognized for their abilities and they are ready to start making money for themselves and being able to provide for their families. As the conflict management strategy states, it will take a lot of time and patience to deal with this difficult situation, but with that time, a decision will be made and this debate will finally come to an end. In the article, How to Pick a Good Fight, the authors Saj Nicole Johnny and Damon Bayer state that a peaceful workplace is even worse for a business and employee engagement than an environment in which the workers are overwhelmed with conflict. This is because in one case, there is no conflict, and therefore there is no chance to grow and develop. In the other case, employees are not happy because the organization is dysfunctional. We often argue over things that don't matter. However, understanding the things that matter and the things that don't matter is a skill. Things that do matter are issues that affect the future. The purpose of the argument should be about improving the lives of the customers. The people involved in the argument should have a fair advantage. Each person should have an equal chance to win the conflict. Leadership is also very important in resolving conflict. The leaders of the organization have to be able to show whoever lost the fight the opportunity to grow and develop because of it.